Good evening, high school basketball fans. I am Tom Smith, and I'm here with varsity girls basketball coach Joe Smith. We're here at Morris Pollard Gymnasium, Speedway, Indiana, for tonight's girls game between the Speedway Sparkplugs and the Lady Eagles from South Putnam High School. Coach, before we talk about tonight's game, let's talk a little bit about the season in general. It seems like forever since we've been up here doing a girls game, but talk a little bit about highs and lows of this season so far.
Well, beginning of the season was not as high as we had hoped. Just played a really tough schedule early, and I think November was the heart of the toughness of our schedule. You know, we played Whiteland and Danville in that stretch, and and then you get into, we were supposed to play Southport. That was rescheduled to last week due to the success of our volleyball team, which was a good thing that our kids were playing in that. And but it's been, we tell our kids, we try to break it up. How good are we? We're going to have a winning record prior to the county tournament. We want to have a winning record in the county tournament. We want to have a winning record from the county to the last regular season game. And then we want to have a winning record in the state tournament. And, we want to see the progression of getting better. And, in terms of record, it is. We struggled early. Obviously the graduation of a dynamic point guard with Camille Perry, which has had a lot of success down at Franklin playing for them. And somebody asked me the other day and said, tell me about, how's the season been? I said, well, we've graduated five best players in the last 2 years. So it's been kind of a struggle. Last year I thought we played well. I thought Melinda Bryant and I thought that Camille led us pretty well last year. And now all of a sudden we kind of weren't real sure who our point guard was early, and now we've figured that out. Miley Walton's done such a good job for us. I would call her, she's just a kind of a gritty kid. She has the burn in her belly to win and succeed, and that's really helped us. So, in terms of the season, we've really had one game that we shouldn't have lost that we did. And it was just the perfect storm. We had a starter that didn't play that game, and it was against Short Ridge, and we got in foul trouble, and we just, that was a game we lost. But, overall, I think we've beaten who we should have beaten. We haven't lost anybody other than that opponent that we shouldn't have. And we've beaten a team or two in there that on paper they probably should have beat us. And so, in terms of the season, if you ask, have you beaten who you thought? Yep. I thought we played really well last week, and so we'll see what tonight brings. They'll be tough and play hard, and they're well coached. So be interesting to see how our kids respond tonight.
Yesterday I was looking at the schedule, and I know your intent was to make the schedule a little tougher this year and in the years to come. And I think you play 6 4A schools, which helps explain, without the best ball handler probably in many schools last year around here, that just that fact alone, the tougher schedule you've played. And I always believe that you get better by creating a schedule of 6 games you ought to win, 6 games you're probably not going to win, and 6 games you're going to be in the contest. And that's kind of where your schedule is now, and I think that's how you improve and get ready for the tournament. Speaking of the tournament, talk a little bit about sectional possibilities, who's in the sectional, and where you think we stand.
Right now, if you look at ratings and things of that nature, which, as a coach, you watch those things and where are we at and who do we need to beat to win the sectional. And I don't discount anybody, because I've had teams where we beat, my very first year as a head coach, we beat a team by 17 points. 2 weeks later, we played in the sectional championship, and they beat us by 5 or 6. So don't discount anybody, but us and Purdue Poly, most people don't know a lot about Purdue Polytech, but they've got a team that's based out of downtown they're pretty good. They're probably, I think that it's going to boil down to either them or us winning it. In an ideal situation, you hope you don't have to play them until the sectional championship. We're hosting the sectional. I think it'll be a great atmosphere if we can get there, but, they don't seed the tournament. So tomorrow we'll find out tomorrow evening who we play. Beech Grove's in there. We played them just recently. I think they were down a starter that game, so that score is not completely indicative of how good they can be. But, I guess if you said, tell me about it, and it's going to come down to us or Purdue Poly to win.
Yep.
Hopefully we don't have to play them the first night. I'd rather play them late. But there'll be a bye game, so there's a chance that we could maybe not even play in the first round. I would rather play the first game. We play our final regular season game next Thursday. I would rather not go to the bye game the following Friday without playing first, just because I think that's a long layoff and kids sometimes get – it'd be good because we have a couple days off. We could give them a day or two off before we started prepping. But tonight in the walkthrough, and we watched some film and talked about we're going to do some things tonight that we think we're going to need to do to win the sectional. We're going to try something different defensively in spurts. We're not going to do it a ton, but just to see what we do and how good are we in that. We'll find out tomorrow, but Purdue Poly's the team to beat. And when I say the team to beat, it's not like they're 20 points better than us. They're 15 points better than us. They're, if you look at the ratings, it's about 3 to 4 point differential there, but they've got two pretty good players. But I like our chances with our kids. Our kids are really we're just kind of letting them play a little bit and not having to call a whole lot, and their instincts are getting really good. And I think obviously you want to be playing your best basketball right now, and I think that we're there. And I think that'll carry over here, hopefully in the next couple weeks. Stay healthy, have good practices. Practices are not extremely long right now. We do a lot of shooting, a lot of little game prep, little scenario, and we get them right out. The other day, I told the girls we were circled up at center court at the end of practice at 4:50. And we started at 3:45, and so they were excited about that. Kids don't want to practice this time of year, so we try to keep it, short and sweet and work on the things we need to. So, we're looking forward to the sectional.
And the sectional's here at Speedway High School,
It is,
correct?
Yep, it is. It's the last, I think that's the 31st of January is the last Tuesday of the month. So we'll have games on Tuesday, and then the semifinals would be on Friday, with the championship being on Saturday evening, which is that first Saturday of February.
Now let's move to tonight's opponent. I saw you and your coach down visiting for a long time, and having been an old coach in particularly the varsity level in the 80s, I was envying what you were doing, because I kind of missed. That was one of the good parts about coaching, was visiting with the opposing coach before the game. Talk about a little bit about Coach Gardner.
Yeah, man, he's just such a good guy. Coach Gardner and I go back to my days when I was on Coach Bennett's staff here. I was an assistant for Coach Bennett for 11 years, I think, and Brian was actually in that stint was the head boys coach at South Putnam. And I remember him from those days. Just a really good guy, and I really enjoy playing teams that have good guys that teach the game the right way, because the longer I'm in it, that just doesn't always happen with head coaches, and he does a really good job. And he actually got out of coaching for a while. The girls' job came open. They came to him, said any interest, and he really didn't, but did it 1 year, and they had some success, and he's been doing it ever since then. But his kids are very well coached. They'll play extremely hard. I told our kids today that, I said, if you don't play hard, they could beat us by 20. Not because they're more talented, but because they just play extremely hard. If we play hard tonight, we should be fine. They play a lot of zone. They do almost looks kind of like a matchup. It's not necessarily the true matchup that we know around here from Coach Pollard, but they do some of that. They do some half-court trap. But, they've got a young team. But I've seen them play twice in person and about 3 times on film, so they'll be – hopefully, knock on wood, there'll be no surprises of what they're going to do. This will be their 3rd game this week. They played last night at Eminence, and then they played on Tuesday night. I went Tuesday, or maybe it was Wednesday night. Days run together, but they played at home against Monrovia earlier this week, and then last night they played at Eminence. So they lost to Monrovia. They beat Eminence by 3 last night. So hopefully, fingers crossed, their legs may not be as fresh as ours. So, but it's the last home game before the sectional starts. So we told our kids that it'll be the last time you play at home before the sectional. And we've been kind of counting down the days to the sectional. Going back to your question earlier about the sectional, we've got, counting tonight, we're only guaranteed 9 days of basketball left. So we're trying to take advantage of that with our kids without putting too much pressure on them. I've been around long enough to know that if you put too much pressure on kids, that's not a good thing. So, but they know where we need to get to and what we need to get better at. And tonight will be a good test for us. So you never tell kids that this is a must-win. I'd never say that to a team, but they aren't going to hear this, until afterwards. But this is a must-win for us. We need to win this game. This is a big one for us going into our final 2 conference games next week.
And that's Lutheran and Cascade, right?
Both on the road. Yep. That's right. And we're 4-1 in the conference, holding second place. And hopefully we can take care of business at Lutheran and be 5-1. And we won't probably play for the conference championship, but we approach those games like they're the conference championship, and it's going to boil down to who's going to get second in the conference, and it's going to be us or Cascade. So if we can go out there and beat a really good Cascade team, we could be second in the conference, end up 5-2, and be pretty happy with where we're at. And that was one of our kids' goals, was either to win the conference or at very least be second, and we put ourselves in that situation right now.
To do that. Mm-hmm. Well, once again, good luck tonight. Again, this is the last home game of the season, and there's always at the beginning of the season the excitement, and there's always excitement at the end because of the sectional coming up, and that's the thing you play for all year long and try to get ready for, and hopefully toughening up that schedule will give you some past experience during the season to carry that on to sectional championship. So
hope so.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with the start of tonight's game and the starting lineups. Once again, welcome back to tonight's girls basketball game between the South Putnam Lady Eagles and our own Speedway Lady Sparkplugs. We're here in Morris Pollard Gymnasium. I am Tom Smith, and working with me tonight is a young man that I coached many years ago in freshman basketball, Dan Mazzariu. Dan had a great career here at Speedway High School. Went on to play at Franklin College, now Franklin University, I believe, isn't it?
I think it's still Franklin College.
But had a great career there, played in the NAIA tournament, followed that up with a couple of years playing in Australia. And it's a privilege really to have him sitting here next to me working tonight's game.
Well, it's my honor to sit next to one of my former coaches, also one of my best friends.
And that is kind of unique that a young man I coached is one of my best friends, but we have been for a long, long time very good friends. First of all, let's talk the starting lineups. Kelsey Custis is a guard for the Lady Eagles. She's a 5'6" senior, number 4. Number 11, Danae Klein, a 5'3" sophomore guard. Clara Pistelli, a 5'4" sophomore guard, number 21, the third starter. Fourth starter, Jocelyn Pilcher. Leading rebounder for the Lady Eagles, number 22, a 5'7" junior. And rounding out the starting lineup is Madison Gardner, number 35, a 5'10" sophomore. The Lady Eagles are coached by Brian Gardner. Their record is 6-13. For your Lady Sparkplugs tonight, at one guard will be Chloe Ellett, number 10, a 5'7" junior. Daniela Galvez, number 11, a forward, a 5'10" junior. And the leading scorer of the Sparkplugs, averaging 12.2 points per game. At center is Genesis Austin, a 6-foot sophomore. The other guard is Miley Walton, number 31, a 5'8" sophomore guard. And rounding out the Sparkplug starting lineup is second leading scorer, number 32, Alex Delisle, averaging 11.9 points per game. They're coached by Joe Smith. They are 8-9. As we mentioned in our pregame, they have played 6 4A teams this year as Coach Smith toughened up the schedule. You'll notice that not only did I not talk about seniors in the starting lineup, normally would be senior night, but there are no seniors on this year's Sparkplug team, and the Lady Eagles are a very young team as well, with 2 seniors on the team, but mostly sophomores making up their lineup, sophomores and juniors, and their leading scorer is Kelsey Custis. Coach, it's high school basketball in Indiana, and for the girls, they have 2 games next week that are both away, so this is their last home game. And they will round out the season with 2 away games at Lutheran and Cascade, and then on to the sectional, which will be here. I guess I should have mentioned that along as when I was talking about you earlier, you also have given an awful lot of your time, and let's talk about that first around here. 37 years you have helped coach boys basketball here, and what an accomplishment for a guy who is not a teacher but has given up his time to help young people learn how to play basketball.
Well, yeah, that was pretty much because of you going to the school board and creating a position, a varsity assistant position back in '84, that I was fortunate enough to and be able to, with my work, to be able to do that. And it was a lot of fun. This is the first year out in 37 years, and I was 32 in football, and this is the first year out of football too. So I enjoyed both of them immensely. I hope I gave a little bit of knowledge to some of the kids that came through. But yeah, it was really a privilege for me because Speedway did a lot for me. The school, the sports, the coaches, everything about the community and the school system prepared me for my career beyond high school. And I was just privileged enough to be able to have the opportunity to give back. So it was great fun. Enjoyed it immensely. Miss it a little bit, but kind of enjoy the free time a lot right now. So that's good.
You know, you mentioned something that I'm going to ask 2 young ladies when this game's over who are juniors on this year's team. What's one lesson that you learned from high school athletics that's carried on? For them, it will be the rest of their life from age 16 or 17 on. For you, it's been a long time, but what is one thing, if you could just pick, and I know there are a lot of things, but if you could just pick one thing and say, this is something that was a part of what I learned in high school athletics, it's been a part of my life from that point forward.
Probably for me, I mean, obviously, yeah, there's a lot of things, learning how to compete and all that, but I think the biggest thing is that just learning the basics or the fundamentals of anything, whether it's a sport, whether it's your job, learning the basics and the fundamentals, because you're always going to face adversity or something that's going to change, and you have to revert back to the things that got you where you wanted to go. And usually those are the most simple things. Sometimes you try to complicate things, like, oh, it's something else. And I think that was one of the things that I learned here, because when I went to college and started playing, I felt like I was more prepared than any other players, because we stressed the basics, the fundamentals, doing things the right way. And I think that's what probably the biggest thing I take away from when I played.
We are now listening to John Del Corobo, the announcer, and we will have the national anthem coming up here in just a moment.
Like you said, both these teams are really young, so the future should be good for both of them in the next coming years.
Well, last year, and I know South Putt graduated some good seniors last year. I remember one of them getting a basketball. I think it scored 1,000 points or something, but they beat Speedway last year by 21 at South Putt. And now our national anthem.
know you were mentioning that this is the last home game. They have 2 away games next week. I wasn't sure that the sectional was here, but I think, you mentioned, Joe, having 4A teams on the schedule, beefing it up a little bit, obviously helps you prepare for the sectional. And I think it's kind of nice, too, that your last 2 games are on the road and you get to come home and play the sectional. Any road game, it doesn't matter who you play, always prepares you, because it's not easy to win any game, but it's especially hard to win games on the road.
Well, and I know this year Cascade is the last game of the regular season, and I think that probably should be a very competitive game, and I think that game, if things fall the way the place they are right now, that'll be for second place in the conference, I think. Once again, as we've said in prior games, Speedway has no seniors on this year's team, and it's Haley Clampett you will see play tonight, who's a freshman. Destiny Thompson will probably play some as a sophomore. Kyla Booker will play some as a sophomore. Macy Delisle will probably play some as a freshman. So the Sparkplugs a very young team. Once again, they will start with Chloe Ellett, number 10, Daniela Galvez, number 11, Genesis Austin, number 14, Miley Walton, number 31, and Alex Delisle, number 32. Daniela Galvez and Alex Delisle very close in points per game at 12.2, and Delisle is 11.9. Daniela averaging 6.5 rebounds and is the leading rebounder. Alex Delisle with 5.5 rebounds. They're even within 1 percentage point of free throw percentage made, as 2 of the leading free throw shooters on the team as well. So we are ready for Sparkplug basketball.
Well, we'll see. I know that some of the keys of the game always have been limiting your turnovers, being able to execute your offense on the half court, and also you got to be able to get half court stops also. So looks like South Putt opens up in a zone.
2-3 zone. Chloe Ellett. Ball moving around the perimeter. Plugs playing a 1-3-1 offense. Alex Delisle with a 3-point shot. Long. Rebound by Molly Walton.
As the old saying goes, long shots, long rebounds. That's what happened there.
Ellett with the dribble. Back to Walton. Inside to Genesis Austin. Back out to Alex Delisle. Miley Walton with a 3-pointer, and it's good. The Plugs jump out to a 3-point lead. Trapped down on the baseline. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll remain at the South Putt end of the floor. Number 4, Kelsey Custis to inbounds for the Lady Eagles.
First time I haven't seen actually the girls play much this year. Looked like they were opening the zone, or I don't know if they just play zone when the ball's underneath out of bounds.
And I know that Coach Smith in our pregame talk said they were going to do something a little different during part of the game, not the entire game, but a basket by Daniela Galvez. Genesis Austin with the steal.
I would like to see Chloe take that all the way down. Oh, that wasn't Chloe, was it? It was
Alex Delisle with a 3. And South Putt calls a timeout.
Walton on that fast break, she gave it up to somebody who was actually behind her as a point guard. I was always kind of told you take it as deep as you need to. Make them stop you. So because they stop you, then you're going to be able to kick it to somebody on the wing or down on the block. It would have been nice for they got a bucket out of it. But nice to see Walton take that a little deeper because nobody stopped her. So when she passed it, she actually passed it to the girl who was behind her.
You know, one of the things I've noticed in boys and girls basketball from the way I was taught way back when is you got a fast break or 2 on one, get away from one another. And now it seems like whether we're talking about boys or girls, they are so close to one another, it's difficult to You know, you used to work on old drills of 3-on-2 type of stuff, but you just don't see people separate themselves from other players going down the floor on offense on fast breaks.
There's a little trap going on. Extended their zone out, trapped the first pass. Very nice.
Coach Smith said they were going to try some things tonight that they hadn't done this year in preparation of the sectional coming up. And what you're seeing right now, I think, is what he was talking about. Plugs have jumped out to an 8-0 lead. A turnover, be spark plug ball again.
Yeah, the pressure is definitely affecting South Putt, that's for sure. Looks like
South
now they're
Putt
going to a 1-3-1. Yeah.
And I know that he said they do some trapping, although they're not right now. He said they do some half-court trapping. Delisle again for three. Trapping at a half court. Ball knocked out of bounds. It'll be South Putt ball.
The absolute worst
Took it right
place
where
to
you
stop.
don't want to take it.
The absolute worst spot on the court to stop. Dribble to against a trap.
I know Coach Joe Smith and Coach Brian Gardner were talking a long time before the game started. I think they're very good friends, have a lot of mutual respect for one another. Coach Gardner, as Joe said, used to be part of the boys staff. And that field goal by Danae Klein. So the Lady Eagles on the scoreboard.
We lost our.
I thought that was a 2, but they've got 3 up on the scoreboard.
I got nothing. There's nothing.
Ball tipped by Daniela Galvez to Austin. Pass out to Chloe Ellett. Back to Daniela Galvez. Short jump shot, round and out. Be Lady Eagles ball. Plugs once again trapping. Goes inside to Clara Pistelli for the field goal.
Sorry, Smitty, we had some technical difficulties. My mic battery died, so I was gone.
Now you're back in good shape.
Yeah.
Plugs lead 11-5. So we've had a string of 11 and then a string of 5 for the Lady Eagles to close the gap. Galvez on the drive, bank shot misses. Long three-point shot missed. Plugs trap in the corner once again. Coming into the spark plugs, number 3, Audrey Burrell. Number 24, Haley Clampett.
That was good defense by Austin. She got her position established, went straight up, didn't come down with her hands. Girl ran into her and lost the ball. That was an excellent job of defense.
Also into the lineup for the spark plugs, Callie Jackson Dietzer. So the plugs right now with a freshman, 2 juniors, and 2 sophomores out on the floor for Speedway. Back to a 2-3 zone for the Lady Eagles. Delisle for a 3-pointer misses, gets the rebound. Shot inside is good. That's the 8th point for Alex Delisle. Plugs, I think, now more in their traditional defense. Kelsey Custis with a 3 for the Lady Eagles.
Plugs are getting a little bit over-rotated in their zone, leaving some people open on the perimeter. I don't think they need to. Sometimes you can overhelp and get out of position.
Inside to Burrell, back out to Jackson Dietzer, misses. Audrey Burrell gets a rebound, takes it inside, short shot misses. Dietzer with the rebound. Delisle with a 3-point shot, misses. And we've got a jump ball. It'll remain with the Spark Plugs, 13-8. So the Plugs had an 11-0 run, and the Eagles now on an 8-2 run. We've got a foul, number 22, Jocelyn Pilcher. Her first, team second. Ball goes inside to Delisle, misses a short jumper.
Coach Smith has some really good out-of-bounds plays underneath the basket. Every time I've watched them play, it seems they always end up with some pretty good looks at the basket on their out-of-bounds plays.
Haley Clampett with the rebound. Ball goes inside to Clampett. Back out to Delisle, shot, misses. Ball goes out of bounds and will be Lady Eagles ball with 1:29 remaining in this first quarter. Plugs now with a little half court sliding back into the trapping defense. That's going to be a foul on Haley Clampett. Her first, 6-foot freshman. Jocelyn Pilcher at the line for 2 free throws. She hits the first. And the second. So the lead now a 3-point lead, 1:19 remaining in this first quarter.
Bounce pass, and feed the post with a bounce pass.
That
was Coach Crumley's favorite
yes.
pass. Bounce pass, boys, bounce pass.
That's still one of my favorite beliefs. You know, one of the things Coach Smith does that you see more and more coaches doing now is assistant coaches, Kyle Brown in this case, decide about substitutions. And he's already had 8 different players in the game. And that's pretty much what happens every game. In the first quarter, he'll take 2 or 3 out, and put 2 or 3 in, and then replace those so that everybody gets a breather in the first quarter.
Yeah, a lot of coaches have gone to that with their they know the rotation they're going to go by getting girls in early. Good defense.
Steal by Chloe Ellett. The layup missed, but she is fouled. By 35, Madison Gardner. So Chloe Ellett will be at the line for 2 free throws.
I noticed on their team stats, their free throw percentage is not great.
No, and that's one of the keys, 3 keys to the game I had, was taking care of the ball, which we've had some turnovers this first quarter, hit your free throws and points in the paint. And up to this point, we've hit 3 threes. Good defense there by the Plugs. 15 seconds remaining in this first quarter.
stunt. I know Coach Smith doesn't call it stunt, but that's a play we ran in college and a play we run on the boys' side
and girls
forever.
have done it.
Kind of stalled out there in the middle of the quarter towards the end offensively, but still we're doing a good job defensively. We're getting a lot of deflections, got some steals. Just have not been able to capitalize on the other end from their hot start. Like you said, the three-pointer has been a game changer, and sometimes when you hit shots, as you know this, it can cover up a multitude of sins when the ball's going through the basket. When it stops going down through the basket, it's when you got to start working some of the other things to try to get either free throws, get layup, get the ball inside. I know one of your keys was points in the paint. Get the ball inside, higher percentage shots, and then hopefully also, like, I know their free throw percentage hasn't been great, but if you get there enough times, you ought to be able to start knocking those down.
Well, I know a good friend of mine that you know, Mike Copper, played at Valparaiso High School, and that was one of the keys of Valparaiso. They shot over 80% as a team while he was there, and he shot like 92 or 93% from the free throw line. Got a foul on the play. Number 11, Daniela Galvez.
Coach Smith has been changing his defense up. They played a 2-3, now they're in a 3-2. They went to a little half-court trap, extended their zone out of that. So, and they've been doing a good job. Their active hands getting a lot of deflections.
Yes, they are. But you know from all the years that you played and you coached that free throws is a thing of repetition, of just repeating. It's like riding a bicycle. There's certain fundamentals you want to have that help you, give you the chance to be a good free throw shooter.
Yep, definitely.
The key is repeating those over and over again when you're tired. And if you'll remember from when I was your coach, Maz, there were a lot of times that we worked on doing a lot of running before we shot free throws, because that's the way it is in a game.
Yeah. I know it was funny, we were talking about, I was talking about it last night with another former coach who's our principal at the junior high, Rick Roseborough. And I know, and when Mike Copper's name came up, and I know his coach up there, Virgil Sweet, and talking about eliminating some of the movement. You watch some of the people shoot free throws today, they're doing all sorts of things, and how they bend, they set, then they have to, there's a lot of movement, and which can lead to a lot of things to go wrong. The less movement, the less chance there is for things to go wrong.
Travel called on Daniela Galvez. Genesis Austin and Alex Delisle back in the lineup for Kelly Jackson-Dietzer and Haley Clampett.
Need to work on something. We're doing, like I said, defensively, we're doing a nice job. We're just struggling offensively, not getting the ball in good positions where we can score. It's interesting. He's got two of their, Danielle and Alex, up on that 3-2, which makes it tough. They're longer.
That's Daniela's second foul. Miley Walton comes in for her. Daniela, the leading scorer, leading rebounder right now for the Plugs. Miley Walton out at point guard, a sophomore.
See with her going out, if that affects the Plugs any.
Don't reach. Alex Delisle with the steal.
Need to try to get, there you go, get the ball and try to penetrate gaps, make a couple people come to you, then kick it to the wide open person. Much better ball movement by the Plugs on that possession.
Alex Delisle with a two-pointer. That was much better ball movement.
Got the ball into
ended
the
up with a
post.
good shot.
Yeah, got the ball in the post. The defense has to collapse. Got it down in the short corner to Alex, and she made a nice bucket.
Chloe Ellett brings the ball down the floor.
Oh, good job in the post again. Just made a bad pass out of it.
Yeah, I noticed when it went into Audrey Burrell in the post a minute ago, Genesis got to step around in front of that girl and post to get her hand where she wants the ball and get a little high-low activity. 15-10 the score. 4:50 left in this second quarter. Shot by Jocelyn Pilcher, no good.
Lady Plugs are doing a good job on the defensive boards. I don't think South Putnam, I can't remember. I'm sure they may have an offensive rebound, but you definitely want to make sure you limit your opponents to one shot.
Chloe Ellett on the drive, misses the shot. Comes out with her own rebound.
Top. They didn't do a real good job on the top of. It's called an elevator screen. When once the player goes through, you close it down. Good hustle, getting on the floor.
And a good shot by Austin Genesis. Ball got into the high post. She had a nice wide open shot. Keep getting those. Haley Clampett, freshman number 24, replaces Audrey Burrell. Ball goes into Clampett and she gets a field goal. The Plugs now lead 17-10. 2:50 remaining in this first half.
I'm sure Haley gets a lot of post-game comments from her dad, JD, who was a really good basketball player, and her uncle, Shane, who was a very good basketball player and is a football coach here. I'm sure like the Delisles do, I'm sure they get post-game comments from Coach Smith. And I mean you, Coach Smith, not Coach Joe Smith.
Well, we always talk about the good news and the bad news. What did you do well and what didn't you do well? That was the second on Jocelyn Pilcher. At the line for the Plugs, Genesis Austin, who at one point this year hit 10 or 12 free throws in a row. She missed that one, but we'll get another string going. Makes the second. Genesis, a 6-foot sophomore. 18-12. Good ball movement on the part of the Lady Eagles. Drive and a nice shot, misses. Alex Delisle comes down with a rebound. Didn't quite get the angle to bank it in. We've got a jump ball, and it'll be South Putnam's ball.
One thing when Alex, I mean, like you said, the angle, I noticed it a lot in both in the boys and the girls game is sometimes people when they're driving, they're one speed, you don't see any hesitation. You know, a little hesitation. Watch what the defense does. You may end up to be able to cross them over, then get to a better angle. Sometimes it's just full speed ahead, and things are, like you said, she did not have a good angle to be able to get the ball off the square and into the bucket.
Good job by Genesis Austin on the rebound. The outlet to Miley Walton. Had a turnover. It'll be South Putnam ball. So right now the spark plugs in the lineup have 2 sophomores, a junior, two juniors, and a freshman in the lineup. As we mentioned earlier, South Putnam also a young team with only 2 seniors on the team. The rest of the people dressed for the game, the 11 players, are juniors and sophomores for the Lady Eagles. So both teams, young teams, age-wise. Shot by Lillian Emmerich misses. Delisle with a pass to Chloe Ellett.
See if they can get it into the post again. Well, got an open 3.
That is going to be a foul on Haley Clampett, I believe. And that's Clampett's second foul.
I'd like to see the Lady Plugs get it inside a little bit and then kick it back out. More than likely, that 3-pointer was just shot. You'll get that pretty much any time you want it. Be nice to get it into the post, see if you can get something a little bit better. If not, after the next 3 passes or something, you're still going to be able to get that 3-pointer from the wing. But from the hot start on the 3-pointers, they've been. Alex hit the 3, I think, in the first quarter. They've been struggling a little bit since then.
You know, it doesn't make any difference what level you're talking about, Coach. If you get the ball inside and get it back out, you're going to get a better shot than if it never goes inside.
More times than not.
Another turnover for the spark plugs.
I like what Dietzer was trying to do there, is get some penetration into the zone. Just didn't take care of the ball once she got in there.
She's a girl who's really progressed this year. She began on the JV team and was totally a JV player and has worked her way up to be in the rotation for the varsity. Works really hard on defense. And is a sophomore. And on cue, gets the ball, drives down the floor. Gets it partially blocked, but is fouled in the process. And I can't remember which game it was. I think it was a Monrovia game here. Callie Jackson Dietzer hit 2 huge free throws. The Plugs were down 9 points in the fourth quarter. And she hit 2 free throws that were instrumental in coming back and tying the game and going overtime. She misses the first free throw there. So the Plugs on the night are 1 for 4 from the free throw line. Hits the second. Correction, they were 1 for 3 prior to that, so they're now 2 for 4.
One of the things that they've been able to do, obviously, is Danielle being their leading scorer, and she's been out pretty much this quarter, most of the quarter, with 2 fouls. And it's always good when your leading scorer is sitting on the bench and you can still maintain your offense.
Delisle with a short jumper, gets her own rebound and gets fouled. Foul on Jocelyn Pilcher, her third. Our free throw shooting is one of the things, Coach, that from earlier in the year has gone kind of downhill. And I know they work on it in practice all the time.
Yeah.
Once again for the night, we're 3 for 6. Another steal by the Spark Plugs, and that's going to complete the first half. The score, Speedway 20, South Putnam 12. We'll be right back with your halftime scoring. We're back here at halftime. I'm Tom Smith along with Dan Mazzariu, Speedway High School, where the Lady Spark Plugs lead 20-12 over the South Putnam Lady Eagles at halftime. Your scoring in the first half, Daniela Galvez scored 2 points and was shackled in foul trouble and sat out quite a bit of the first half with her 2 fouls. Callie Jackson Dietzer had 1 point. Genesis Austin with 1 point on a free throw. Haley Clampett had 2 points on 1 field goal. Miley Walton had 3 points on a three-pointer, and Alex Delisle, the leading scorer in the game, with 11 points, 2 threes, 2 field goals, and 1 for 2 from the free throw line. For the South Putnam Eagles, Kelly Custis had a three-pointer for 3. Danae Klein had a three-pointer for 3. Clara Pastelli had a field goal for her 2 points. Jocelyn Pilcher hit 2 for 2 from the free throw line and a field goal that second quarter for her 4 points. The Sparks Plugs outscored the Lady Eagles 13-10 the first quarter and 7-2 the second quarter. Our statistician has Speedway 7 for 22 or 32% from the field. South Putnam 4 for 19 for 21%. In the free throw line, the Lady Spark Plugs were 3 for 8, 38%, while South Putnam, as we mentioned a moment ago, was 2 for 2 for 100% from the free throw line. Spark Plugs out-rebounded the Lady Eagles 16-9 this first half. Spark Plugs committed 7 turnovers. The South Putnam Lady Eagles 8 turnovers this first half. So we thank Brian Pierce for those statistics. Here at halftime, once again the score 20-12 with the Spark Plugs leading. Thoughts first half?
Well, like you said, 7-2 in the second quarter, and Daniela was out most of that quarter, so that bodes well for the Lady Spark Plugs to be able to, when she's on the bench, to be able to win that quarter and actually increase their lead, so that's good. Defensively, they've done a tremendous job. They've had a lot of deflections. I would have guessed that South Putt had more turnovers than that in the first half, but again, there was the Lady Plugs had some steals, which gave them many opportunities. I would like to see them get the ball inside a little bit more this second half, and then they can still kick it out for the 3, but I'd like to see them try to see if they could get some better percentage shots. Sometimes they're settling for the 3, and as you know, you can live and die by it. It's great when they're going down, but if not, you kind of get caught up in shooting them. And
that's true at any level. You know, you look at Purdue, it's the same thing. They're hitting threes. Things are great. There's some games they haven't, but they also have a 7-4 center.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to.
But the Pacers are the same way. Teams, as you say, live and die oftentimes by the three-point shot.
Well, that line becomes mesmerizing out there. But right then, the first possession, they did a nice job. They got it into the post, just made a turnover. But I think you need to explore some of the stuff. Like, I know one of your keys was points in the paint. And to get those points, like I said, usually they're a higher percentage shot. And they're much easier to get the rebounds if you miss it, too, because you're right there. So hopefully that the second half they can get a little bit more balance as getting the ball inside, points in the paint, and still have the opportunity. You know, when you got the three-pointer shot, you need to take it.
Three-point shot by Clara Pastelli misses. Daniela Galvez with the rebound.
Said Alex, take it to the basket. Good job.
Alex Delisle takes it to the basket, gets fouled.
Good job by Danielle getting the rebound and looking up floor, passing up floor to somebody who's open and has an opportunity to do something with the basketball.
Alex Delisle with the free throw. 2 for 3 from the free throw line on the night. Also hits the second. So 22-12.
Great opportunity here for the Lady Plugs to really, they're building that lead, and you don't want to relax right now. Now is when you want to kind of get really locked in and try to just build it from a 10-point lead to 14, then from 14 to 18, and just continue to build it. Sometimes your tendency is you get up double digits like that and you relax, and it should be just the opposite right now. Their focus should be just to.
Madison Gardner with the rebound, and then we have a foul on Chloe Ellett, her first. Team's second foul. Nice backdoor by the Lady Eagles. Field goal by Clara Pastelli.
Her wing kind of got caught standing flat-footed in the zone and not paying attention to where people were. You do that sometimes, you think, okay, I'm just going to stand in this area. Good hustle by Austin.
Genesis Austin saved it going out of bounds, tipped it back in, it went off South Putt. It'll be Speedway's ball. Alex Delisle with a short jumper, misses.
Everything but the shot there, Smitty.
Yep.
Good move, good. Just didn't get the shot to go down.
Sure you've heard this before. My old college basketball coach at Miami of Ohio, Tate's Lock, said $1 million move and a 50-cent shot.
I think I heard that a few times.
You heard that a few times when you were a freshman.
That's exactly right.
Spark Plugs in the zones. Alex Delisle with the rebound. Gets it ahead to Miley Walton.
Good look up.
Inside to Genesis Austin. Misses the shot inside.
It's another time, and obviously I know we're young, but she had an opportunity to kind of gather herself and get the ball on the glass instead of. That's a tough angle to try to.
Yes, it is.
Not to use the glass, and some of that's just experience. Like I said, I know we're young.
3-point shot by Jocelyn Pilcher. It's her 7th point in the game. 22-17 now. Alex Delisle with her 3rd 3-pointer of the night. Good ball movement by the Lady Eagles. I think we're going to have a foul on Madison Gardner. And that'll be her 3rd foul.
Back to their 1-3-1 a little bit. Good job
nice
by the
pass
Plugs.
From Alex Delisle into Daniela Galvez for the layup.
Good job, good
and
passing.
Free throw.
Danielle getting to the opposite block against the trap. That's always going to be open against a 1-3-1.
Callie Jackson Dietzer replaces Chloe Ellett. Haley Clampett replaces Genesis Austin. Daniela Galvez completes the old-fashioned three-point play. And the lead goes to 28-17. So 6 straight, I believe, for Lady Sparkplugs. Good defense by
Good job, active hands
Clampett.
again.
Miley Walton with a layup misses. Burrell finishes and doesn't control the rebound.
Good job.
Block shot by Haley Clampett. Delisle brings the ball up the court.
I like that Walton the last time she used her left hand. I know she missed it, but she went ahead and used her left hand, and just unfortunate it didn't go in. Short corner, nice.
Nice pass inside to Haley Clampett. Missed the layup, but a nice pass from Audrey Burrell. Steal by the Sparkplugs.
Very good offense the last time down. Just missed the layup.
Burrell with a jump shot. That's what I know they call double replace, and they have a person that starts in the middle, leaves, and wing comes in there.
Yeah, I think Coach Smith has made an emphasis in the second half of getting the ball more inside a little bit, because they've done a really good job of getting it into the post. They've hit the short corner a couple times, and that's a big difference when you can start getting that zone to collapse, and they're not going to be able to cover everybody. If you can get it into the post and get it to the short corner and kick it back out, that's good offense.
Maybe they've got you mic'd up and they're listening to what you said at halftime, but they have. They've gotten the ball inside this second half much more effectively than they did the first half. We've missed a couple of the shots inside, as the last one is an example of that, but as you said earlier, shooting percentage is much higher in there than it is out in the three-point land. So the Plugs lead 30-17. I believe that's their biggest lead of the night. They started out with an 11-0 lead.
Need to finish strong here the last 3 minutes of this quarter. Don't let South Putt hang around. Don't let them believe that they can come back in the fourth quarter. Really dial in for this last 3 minutes. Try to build this lead. Nice, going to go through a little full court pressure here. Change up.
Well, man-to-man pressure. Haley Clampett gets her hands on the ball a second time.
It's a good change-up out of the timeout. Remember in the first half, South Putt struggled a little bit with the pressure in the first half too, so I think that was a good call by Coach Smith to change it up a little bit. Well,
Alex Delisle with the missed field goal attempt, and Audrey Burrell with the foul.
I know Alex was kind of open, but there was no passes on the offense at that point. You just got a turnover from the other team. I don't think Coach Smith really, even though she was open and she's probably the best three-point shooter, that shot would have been there probably after 4 or 5 passes, and maybe there had been something better. I think he would have liked to seen a little more movement on the offense that last time down, especially when you just got a turnover.
Jump ball, the possession this time staying at this end with the South Putt Lady Eagles. Haley Clampett with the rebound. Miley Walton.
That's better, Alex.
Delisle drives, misses it, gets her own rebound. Puts it back in. Her 18th point on the night. And the same thing with South Putt on that possession, Coach. They got it inside and back outside and hit the two-pointer.
Yeah, both teams playing zone. You've got to get it inside a little bit, make the zone collapse, and I think Burrell, good position to get the ball in the short corner, but I think she turned and she was a little bit deep on the baseline, didn't have a very good angle. Now, she may have yelled pass on that to Haley, so that she might yell instead of a shot, but we'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
Galvez comes back in. Delisle and Walton have a seat. Haley Clampett with her second free throw. She has 2 points on the night.
Coach Smith is, I think, thinking the same thing, dialing up the pressure a little bit because they have not handled it very well.
Still 32-19.
In a good possession here. Get the ball inside, moving around.
Clampett had a good post there if they could have gotten the ball into her.
Good offense. Good shot, didn't go down, but that was really good offense. Moved the ball, got it inside out a couple times. Burrell ended up with a wide open 15-footer, just didn't go down.
Good ball movement that time by South Putnam as well. We got a foul on the spark plugs. Haley Clampett picks up her third foul. Clara Pistelli at the line. Hits the first free throw. And the second. Clara 2 for 2 from the free throw line on the night. You know, you see so often what just happened. You make a mistake and you try to make up for it really quick and turn around and end up making a second one.
Right. That's always, don't let the first mistake lead to the second. I know she's frustrated because of what the first mistake, but like you said, that's where kind of holding your composure comes in. Don't allow it.
I think we're going to have a foul on Audrey Burrell.
Puts them in a bonus.
Lily Emmerich.
I think we're getting a little bit undisciplined defensively. They're trying to put pressure on them, but we're getting a little bit undisciplined with what we're doing and making some fouls and getting out of position.
Lady Eagles for the night are 5 for 5 from the free throw line.
The announcer jinx there, Smitty. They got the rebound, and now they're going to get a chance to get a three-point play. It's another Cardinals sin. Shouldn't letting the shooting team get their own rebound on the free throws.
So frustrating as a coach.
Tough end of the quarter, up 32-19. The last, they go on a 6-0 little run to give themselves a little bit of hope. That's why when you build those leads, don't relax. You need to really lock in. And now they got the momentum coming out of to the fourth quarter, and you just hate to see that. You've done a great job, build up a nice little lead, and kind of threw it away there for the last minute of the third quarter. I believe they outscored us 13-12 that quarter, did they not?
I'm checking, but I think you're correct.
And again, 6 of those points probably came in the last minute. And that's what you don't want to have happen at the end of quarters. Obviously, for them, South Putt, that's what they were wanting to do. Hey, let's get it back under 10 points going into the fourth quarter. Need a good start here in the quarter.
They outscored us 13-12 that quarter.
Good patience right now by the Plugs. Playing that zone.
Jump ball, and the ball will go over to the Lady Eagles. Genesis Austin and Alex Delisle back into the lineup for Haley Clampett and Callie Jackson Dietzer.
Good look from Morrell again, just can't get him to go down. See if we can get our defense back going again a little bit. Like I said, we got a little bit undisciplined towards the end of the quarter. Out of position, made some fouls. Let them get a couple of rebounds.
Good shot by the Lady Eagles. It doesn't go down. 32-25.
They're going to run a stunt here again. Yeah, they didn't get whoever's on the block didn't get the screen.
Alex Delisle for 3. It's her 4th 3 on the night, her 21st point, and it's 35-25, and a quick timeout by Coach Brian Gardner. He will insert Kelly Custis back into the lineup.
Well, that was good offense. Their first 2 possessions they've had here in the fourth quarter have been really good. They took their time. And if South Putt's going to stay in that zone, they need to work the ball around and make sure they get the absolute best shot. They're not doing anything to speed us up. And both possessions took a lot of time off the clock, but that's good. If they're not going to force the issue, continue to work the ball, work for that best shot you can get, and then go from there. So both those possessions were good.
You got to believe Coach Brian Gardner is going to change something.
I would think so.
Pressing-wise, I don't know that they'll go to a man. It may be a half-court trap type of defense, but they can't afford to sit back and let us have the kind of possessions like you mentioned that take that much time off the clock and end up with field goals. Plugs now with a man-to-man full court press.
Plugs need to make sure they play defense here without fouling, because South Putt's in the bonus, and you don't want the clock stopped with them having opportunities to score with the clock not running. Good pass by Daniela. Nice.
Daniela Galvez with the assist. Alex Delisle with a field goal.
Plugs are back playing man-to-man now. Good job. Oh, that was a very good job by Austin.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's, as they said, the hardest call, the block charge. But, man, I think she was pretty well established there, and the other girl was out of control. So I'd have to disagree with the official on that one. Good job by Austin in blocking out down there. Well, that's, as Mr. Crumley would say, that's where you need a bounce pass.
A foul on Chloe Ellett.
Chloe was in good position there, but she was just a little bit deep. I think she was kind of underneath, back behind the basket and goal. I don't think you're going to get that call if you're that deep.
0 for 2. Danae Klein on the free throw line that time.
Take your time here now.
5:30 left in the game. Plugs lead by 11, 37-26.
Work and get a good shot. Make them play defense. See what they're going to do. It was a nice play, and Alex had a nice shot, but she kind of
leaning forward.
Yeah, she needed to go up and straight up and down. I think she would have. She was kind of off balance shooting that one, and you could tell there was no arch on her shot. It was pretty much an arrow.
That's another term I used to use, if you'll remember, Coach.
Let's see.
There'll be a foul on Miley Walton.
Need to quit reaching. I know you mentioned that earlier in the telecast that they were reaching, and they're playing man now. Just stay in front, make them shoot contested shots. Here they are at the free throw line. The clock stopped, and they're able to score.
Danae Klein hits her first. And the second. So she is 2 for 4 from the free throw line tonight. Nine-point lead for the Plugs.
Look at the post.
Good rebound by Genesis Austin.
Nice. There you go.
Good job. Good job on offense that time. A nice assist from Genesis Austin to Daniela Galvez. Her 7th point on the night. For Pastelli scores.
Get in. Get in. There you go.
Galvez scores. Pastelli now with 8 points for South Putnam. Daniela Galvez with the field goal and the opportunity for the three-point play. Callie Jackson Dietzer comes back in for Chloe Ellett.
Plugs need to work a little harder there on the defensive end. Last couple times, South Put's been able to get pretty much anything they wanted to in a pretty quick manner. So need to work harder down here and make them use up some time and Make it a
Well,
little
as you
tougher
said a
on them.
minute ago, we need to quit reaching and just keep our feet in front. That's going to be a jump ball, and it'll be spark plug ball. I think we're going to see a little trap now.
Yep.
That's one of those times down there on offense last time. The ball's more valuable than the shot is at this
Yeah.
point in time.
I mean,
3 minutes to go. You're not stalling.
Right. I mean, it's an open shot, but sometimes it doesn't mean it's a great shot. And with the lead, and they're not doing a whole lot to make you quicken up. They're not trying to trap a whole lot. So you can definitely work the ball. There's a nice job of getting the ball inside. I would have liked to seen her face up first, and then she kind of already looked like she'd already determined she was going to shoot it as she turned.
That's a foul on Alex Delisle. The Plug's 10th foul. So we're in a double bonus. Clara Pastelli at the line with a double bonus. Misses the first. And the second, Miley Walton grabs the rebound. It's the kind of shot you want to get right there. Daniela Galvez, a little short jumper in the lane.
Active hands without reaching. We don't need the foul here.
Daniela Galvez comes down with a rebound.
I think they're going man. Still another foul to give before we're shooting.
Foul on Kelsey Custis. Her second. Haley Clampett in the lineup for the Spark Plugs.
I think she was trying to get the foul. The official didn't call it. I think they were fouling right off the bat.
Yeah.
The official didn't call it.
Got a foul on Kelsey Custis, her third. Callie Jackson Dietz are at the line for a 1-on-1. Misses. And it'll be South Putnam Lady Eagles ball. The score 44-30. There's 1 minute and 20 seconds to go.
South Putnam might go into the hack shack here. As many free throws as we're missing, many may just say, hey, let's put them at the line and see if they can hit a few.
Well, that's what Coach Brian Gardner was yelling last time for them to do. Three-pointer. Clara Pistelli with a three-pointer. It's her 11th point on the night. A timeout call by South Putt. 51.3 seconds left. The Plugs with an 11-point lead. And appear to be headed to their 9th win of the season.
Yeah, I believe so. Honestly, I think if I was South Putt, try to extend the game, maybe try to get a steal off a first pass here, and if you don't get it, go ahead and foul. See if the Plugs can knock a few of them down. If they can't, who knows? You can come down and hit a couple threes in a row, you could be right back in it. Try to extend the game as long as you can. And obviously on the other side, Coach Smith will want to try to keep the ball in the hands of his best free throw shooters, which I would assume would probably be Alex, probably Daniela. So that if they do start fouling, that those are the girls that are going to the free throw line for you.
Spark Plugs have outscored them 12-8 in this quarter.
Yeah, Alex didn't need to shoot that one. She could have pulled it out.
You got a place where you got that to the backboard and had a layup.
Yeah.
But that shot, as you mentioned earlier, and we've said all year, is such a tough shot without.
Well, she didn't, sometimes you get in a hurry and you don't get your feet under you, so you don't have any power going up with it. And again, bad angles. Another missed free throw.
Daniela Galvez with the rebound, and she gets fouled. Foul's going to be number 11, Danae Klein.
Well, I think we're pretty safe now, Coach. I think if they'd hit that three, it might have made things a little bit interesting, but I think Danielle knocks these down.
And that's Daniela's 8th point of the quarter, her 13th point on the night. Misses the second one. Daniela with the rebound. And that's going to end the night. The Spark Plugs 45, South Putt 33.
Well, good job by the girls tonight. Kind of had some lulls at certain times on the offensive end and on the defensive end, but made plays when they needed them, hit some shots when they needed them, and good win for them. Gets them back to 500, is that correct?
That's correct. Spark Plugs outscored them 13-8 that fourth quarter. We will be right back with your scoring and an interview with a couple junior girls of the basketball team this year. We'll be right back. We're back here at Morse Pollard Gymnasium where the Lady Spark Plugs defeated the South Putt Lady Eagles 45-33. Speedway outscored South Putnam 13-10 the first quarter, 7-2 the second quarter, was outscored 13-12 the third quarter, and scored 13-8 to win 3 of the 4 quarters with pretty consistent scoring, 13, 7, 12, and 13 for the Sparkplugs for their 45 points. For the Sparkplugs, Audrey Burrell had a field goal for 2 points. Daniela Galvez had 13 points, with 8 of those coming in the final quarter. Callie Jackson Dietzer had 1 point. Genesis Austin had 1 point. Did a nice job inside for the Sparkplugs defensively. Haley Clampett had a bucket for 2 points. Miley Walton had 3 points for the Plugs on a three-pointer. And Alex Delisle finished with 23 points, the leading scorer in the ball game for the Plugs total of 45. For South Putnam, Kelsey Custis had 4 points. Danae Klein, 7 points. Clara Pistelli was their leading scorer with 11 points, 5 of those coming in the fourth quarter. Jocelyn Pilcher had 7 points. Lillian Emmerich, 1 point, and Madison Gardner, 3 points for their total of 33. So South Putnam falls to 3-14, or correction, 6-14. The Sparkplugs are now 9-9 on the year and have 2 games to close out the regular season this coming year. Coach, final thoughts?
Well, I thought it was really good how we started the fourth quarter, because at the end of the third quarter, from a 13-point lead, they scored the last 6 points of the third quarter, made it a 7-point lead, and very easily could have gotten to where, we were struggling a little bit on both on the defensive end and the offensive end. But we came out, did a very nice job offensively. The first 2 possessions of the fourth quarter set the tone for the quarter. I think we scored on the second one, did not score on the first one, but we ran offense. We got the ball inside, kicked it out, moved it around. We ended up with 2 really, really good shots, and we're able to take time off the clock. And I think that kind of got us back in control of the game. And then from there, they still did a nice job defensively. And, hopefully down the road, I know they work on it all the time, but, man, if they could hit some free throws, it'd sure make things a little bit easier on them. But, like I said, I think those first 2 possessions of the fourth quarter were really, really big for the Lady Sparkplugs. That got them kind of back in control of the game when they had lost it a little bit at the end of the third quarter.
We talked about missed free throws. I think we missed 10 free throws during the game. And that was one of my keys to the game, was hitting your free throws, but they got away with it this time. But at some point in time, that's going to hurt you, and hopefully not in the coming games they have this week in sectionals. As we mentioned at the start of the game, 2 young teams. They only have 2 seniors. And while both of them got in, limited play by one of the 2, so basically 1 senior played for them and no seniors for us. And come sectional time, the experience that those underclassmen have gotten this year will pay big dividends, hopefully, for both South Putnam and Speedway.
No question. And sometimes, as you know, you have to experience things that to all of a sudden to know how it feels. How do you react? Because you don't know. You can practice. You can say, okay, this is what you want to do, but until it actually happens, and you can actually your response or however you experience it and what you do, whether it's good or bad, is a great lesson, and it serves you better as you go forward in either the next games or the next year or whatever. Experience is, like I said, is probably the best teacher of all.
Right.
And when you're young, they've got a lot of girls that just, like you said, haven't had an opportunity to play much varsity basketball, and there's going to be mistakes made, but they keep battling through it, and that's a credit to them. It's a credit to the coaching staff, what Coach Smith does to keep their confidence up, even though when things may be going south for them. So kudos to them, kudos to the whole coaching staff, and look forward to their last 2 games and see what they can do in the sectional.
Yep. Well, thank you very much for helping out tonight. I appreciate it, and we will be right back with an interview with 2 of our juniors Sparkplug basketball team members. We'll be right back. Once again, this is Tom Smith, and we are back here at Speedway High School, and I've got two young ladies who are juniors on the varsity basketball team this year. And as we have done with some of the other players, we have some questions that deal with the academic side, and some of them deal with the sports side. But I'll ask the first question to Reagan Hendry, who is on my right, your left, and then I will go to Paige Powell and ask her the same question. First question, ladies, tell me your class schedule. First period to seventh period.
First period I have Spanish, and second period I have ceramics. Third period is AP psychology. Fourth period's weight training. Fifth period. Fifth period I have algebra 2. Sixth period I have chemistry, and seventh period I have AP Lang.
Very good. 2 AP classes. We'll talk about AP classes in just a moment. Paige, tell us your schedule.
First period I have AP Econ. Second period I have chemistry. Third period AP Lang. Fourth period weight training. Fifth period Spanish 4. Sixth period pre-calc, and seventh period AP Psych.
Both of you have pretty tough schedules, a lot tougher, I think, than I took when I was here. But for those of you that have not watched a telecast before, when they talk about AP classes, those are advanced placement classes where at the end of the year, the school, first of all, the school pays for you to take the test. That's, I think, $125 or something. If you get a 3, 4, or 5, they give you $100 for each 3, 4, or 5 you get. But as I've told people before, and I will tell you too now, research would tell us that by you taking, and since both of you have taken a class, your chances of graduating from college increase about 60% by having taken AP classes in high school, even if you didn't get any 3, 4, or 5s. So forget the 3, 4, 5s. Just taking classes and getting a 1 or a 2 on there, you know what college classes are like, much more so than people who never took one of these classes. So kudos to both of you for the AP classes you're taking. Let's talk about either, for a moment, just a favorite class or a favorite teacher that you have.
My favorite class is AP psychology. I just think it's really interesting, and I can relate it to myself in my life.
Okay. Paige.
My favorite class would probably have to be either Spanish or pre-calc, just because I really like Spanish and like learning new languages, and I'm also really into math too, so.
And you're in 4th year Spanish, did you say?
Yeah.
I topped out at 2 years of Spanish. So, third question. After graduation, and I realize you're both juniors, so you're not graduating this May, but a year from this May, when you walk across that stage, what do you think you'll be doing once you leave here?
I do want to go into a medical field. I really want to be a nurse practitioner or an RN.
And thoughts about where you might go to school?
I really want to go to Purdue University.
Okay. It's a good field to be in, good university. Paige.
I really want to be an optometrist and probably go to the IU School of Optometry.
Okay. Is there a reason?
Well, I've had to wear glasses since I was 3 years old. Obviously, I wear contacts, and I actually went to the optometry school like a specialist that they would like look at my eyes and stuff, and I've just been interested in just like how the eye works and stuff. I don't know. It's cool.
Good for you. Both of you. Great, hopefully future occupations. Let's go back to sports and ask the question, and I realize you're both multi-sport athletes. It's not just one sport, but in the sports you've played up to this point in time, you have a year and a half basically left of sports. But up to this time, what's something you've learned from sports that you think you will carry with you the rest of your life? And Reagan will ask you that question first.
I would say something I learned would be not to take anything for granted. It can all be taken away from you very quickly. I did get injured this season, and sectionals is coming up in 2 weeks, and I'm not quite sure if I'll be ready to play yet.
And that was going to be my next question. Are you going to be back? And a good point in that the things you have, live every day because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. is one of the things you learn from the unfortunate part of having an injury. And hopefully once you get cleared to play, you'll have a greater appreciation for the time you were able to play, even though I'm sure you miss the time that you've been out. So very good answer. Paige, tell us what you've learned that you think you'll carry with you.
I think I've learned just how to handle adversity, and like in games or in practices when things aren't going my way, I can better like have some self-control and learn how to overcome those things better.
And that's a great answer as well. I've said many times, sports can teach you discipline and hard work and preparedness, and maybe one of the most important things is how to be a good teammate, because in whatever you do, whether it's nurse practitioner or ophthalmologist or optometrist or whatever you may end up going into, you're going to be part of a team. It's not just you by yourself doing what you're doing. You're going to be with other people. And so many things to learn from sports, and I appreciate both your answers. Final question. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
I definitely still hope that in 10 years I'll still be doing nursing stuff. I just want to be able to help people and then hopefully be able to start a new chapter in 10 years.
Do you hope to stay around here, or do you want to go to Walla Walla, Washington, or somewhere else? Do you think you see yourself?
I do want to go down south, but I always feel that Speedway always has a connection on people and people always stay here.
Okay. 10 years.
I probably think I'll like hopefully have a job in optometry, like in the practice and stuff. Maybe like have a family, like start one near, it's probably stay in Indiana, but I don't know if it'll be Speedway or somewhere else, but definitely stay here.
Okay. Thank you very much. And if you haven't gathered from talking to these two ladies, I know they're the 6th and 7th ones we've talked to this year. Hopefully you've got the idea that being a student at Speedway High School is kind of a privilege. It's kind of like being in a public school in a private school setting. Two very intelligent young ladies sitting here with me, and I appreciate the time, and thanks for coming up and talk to us. Once again, this is our last girls game we will bring to you from Morris Pollard Gymnasium this year. We want to thank Brian Pierce, Bill P., and tonight our special cameraman, Henry Johnson, brought to you from our cable television network here in Speedway. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds left. Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it. Oh! That's the finish. You get a layup taken and an and one.